Hello, good evening, and welcome to the second round of the Formula 2 Championship here with CRS. My name's James. I'm going to be your commentator for this evening alone. It's looking like it's going to be a good event. We've changed circuits last minute, so actually we were meant to have Indianapolis, which is why we're currently showing Road Atlanta background track for you. But yeah, we've got a great evening of racing underway at a really tight circuit. But we are not going to waste any time. We are going straight over to the live footage to start watching qualifying, which has 2 minutes to go. Matthew Lee on pole with a 1:05.9 at the moment. So let's jump over to those. So we're in it. That qualifying just under 2 minutes to go. Banslow currently P3 with that 1:07.8. He's looking strong. This circuit is built within the oval circuit, so it's not a traditional racing circuit. However, it's pretty interesting. It's a tight circuit, very narrow. These drivers looking to do something good on it. Banslow really fast through the final chicane there, doing a 1:07.6, and he's still less than 2 seconds off Matt Lee. Matt Lee's put a storm of a lap in there, 1:05.9. Dare I say he won't go out again with 1 minute to go? Probably not now, as there's probably no time left on the clock. Brown currently doing a 1:09.5. It's very close indeed between P8 and P5. Only 5 tenths between them, so if Tim Brown can make up some space, he'll catch up to this man, Jimmy Murray, who's currently in P5, doing a really good job. All these drivers didn't know this circuit was going to be changed until about 15 minutes before everything was due to start running. So all these guys have all learned this circuit at the exact same time, which makes things interesting. It actually throws things up in the air a bit. But yeah, Rowley P2 with a 1:07.3, Banslow with a 1:07.6. So those two fighting for second currently. Anthrax with a 1:08.8, but Murray goes with a 1:08.6 with 12 seconds left on the clock. What a good lap from Murray there, puts him P4. Simon Mannion with a 1:12. He's still getting to grips with this car as we come into the second race, and definitely taking his time through the chicane, but better safe than sorry as he comes around the back end of the circuit now. So Beth Stibbles has done a 1:09.3. She's crossed the line to do a mega job there, back to the pits. Murray's still on a lap. Mannion just about to finish this lap. Will be when he comes through the next part of the oval. Crosses the line. It's a 1:11.9, so it's a good improvement from Mannion as well on what he was doing before. But it's still very close. Just waiting to see who else is still on circuit. Tim Brown, can he go quicker? That's the question now. It's that 1:09.5. He can definitely find some time if he goes a little bit quicker. We shall see the overtime now, so the drivers should be either back in the pits or will be on their final hot lap. And Tim Brown with a 1:09.3, so he does improve. He puts himself in between Stibbles and Kitchener. Kitchener now a 1:09.4. So these drivers all learning at a similar pace, but very impressive from all those. Yeah, that's a really good quality. Story of the day though, same as last week in a way. There is no Zoranovic this evening, but Matthew Lee P1 in quali there, 1:05.9, strong lap from Matthew Lee. And yeah, Rowley in P2, Banslow P3, Jimmy Murray P4 with that 1:08.6 and a mega job from Murray there. Looks like Matthew Lee's just jumped a little bit. Anthrax, which is Ben Hornby. We'll get that changed at some point. He is a 1:08.8 and Beth Stibbles a 1:09.3 with Brown and a 1:09.3 as well. So Beth Stibbles, this is probably her best performance of the season so far, and I bet she's going to be really happy with that. Now we're just waiting for the overtime to count down, and then we move to the next event, the next part of the event, which is the race. So we're just looking forward to that start, which is going to be exciting. Obviously this Charlotte Oval. It's a very popular circuit within the NASCAR fraternity, not so much in the open wheel fraternity, but it was a good little choice I think we've made, and hoping for a really tight and tricky event for some of the drivers. But this should make for an interesting race in the pack. As we just sit through, we've got a little bit more of a countdown time. The drivers just getting their quali setups, their race setups prepared for today's feature race, for today's sprint race. Sorry, sprint race only 15 minutes long, and these drivers will be getting themselves in that mindset that this race, it's not very long. You know, you've got to make the moves when you've got to make the moves. I think if anyone wants to do anything regarding going towards Matt Lee, then some of these drivers may have to act early to get as close as they can, because I think once Matt has space, he may drive away. So that's going to be interesting to see what Rowley and Banslow do from P2 and 3, with Murray looking like he's holding well in P4, but we'll see how good of a start he gets. Last week Murray's start was not the best, I don't think, in the second race, but we're a minute away now from the lights, and you can see there we're just sat with someone, just sat with me for some reason, which is highly confusing. But yeah, this happened to me last time. You got Matt Lee P1, Ben Rowley P2, Banslow P3, Jimmy, your top 4. We've got 20 seconds, so we will be going through the grid. Ignore the number at the bottom, it's not correct at the minute, but we are here. Charlotte Motorspeedway, Banslow P3, Jimmy sat in P4, Jimmy Murray, and we have the lights. They're ready to go. These lights are ready to go out, and we've got 6 lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to miss the start for some reason with the camera, but lights out, and it's away we go, and we are underway for the first race of this evening here at Charlotte Motorspeedway. The first corner instant off the grid, and the drivers all getting bunched up quite early on, but Ben Hornby there and Ben Rowley already having to defend from Banslow as they go into the chicane. Oh, and Rowley's gone off and he's hit the wall, but he's not going to collect Banslow with him. Banslow conceding that position. Beth Stibbles now sending off. Driving well. Not currently P1, not sure why it shows us that, but doing a really good job from P6. That's P3. So on his own, I think he's actually P4. Matt Lee is definitely in P1. Brown now in the hunt for Mannion as the table starts to sort itself out. Now the drivers being organised into their correct order. There we go. Just took a few moments for them to cross the timing line, and so you've got Matt Lee 3 seconds now ahead of Rowley. Kitchener in 9th, struggling at the back there, but he's back on circuit, back underway. Rowley P2, 3 seconds, then Banslow 5 seconds away from Matt Lee. Anthrax, he is another second behind. Tim Brown P5, Beth Stibbles holding that P6 for now. Jimmy Murray with a not great start from the middle of the grid. Looks like he may have had a couple of issues. He's back down to P7 with Kitchener P8, Mannion P9. You see Matt Lee just getting really comfortable now. He's got a long 45-minute race coming up, and this is going to be a challenge. Stibbles under in P6, defending off Jimmy Murray. This could be a good race. between the two drivers. Jimmy Murray definitely the quicker of the two, but has Beth got the ability to defend. And Tim Brown's off. That's Tim Brown off in P5. That's going to put Stibbles and Jimmy Murray, as we see on the back of the wing there. Brown just defending his space while he could. I think that was their drive, and he's going to try and pull himself away now. But Murray and Stibbles behind, nose to tail as they come through the next infield section here at Charlotte Motorspeedway. Murray going down the inside of Stibbles. Stibbles having to give the room. I wish we could see a better camera. Here we go. Rowley currently P2, 2 seconds ahead of Banslow, who is holding his own. P3, only a few seconds away from Ben Hornby. Kitchener just getting himself back under his racing ways. 26 seconds now behind. It's not a massively long lap. You may see drivers starting to get lapped here. However, drivers putting in good times. Brown with a 1:11 in his sprint race. Sprint race pace right now is Murray's gone. I think Murray's actually gone off. I think Murray's gone off, and his tyres will be very warm indeed. Of what's gone on there. But Murray now P8, and yeah, it's not great. Murray will find more of that out later on this evening. He's now going to be pushed by Kitchener. Meanwhile, sorry, Mannion will be pushed by Mannion. Sorry. Meanwhile, we've got Ben Hornby in the one of the Dams F2 cars. And currently 12 seconds off of this man, Matthew Lee, who is currently just driving away, really. These guys were all given the circuit very, very last minute. I think that was just due to the pit lane issues with Indianapolis Road Course. So another oval type circuit was thrown in the mix, and this was what was eventually chosen. Paul Kitchen is still having a bit of a struggle with his car. Looks like he's back underway though. Mannion right behind him. Murray now at the back, and considerably quite far off his last lap time, 31.6. So definitely struggling with the car at the moment, but could be just the circuit, could just be an unfortunate couple of incidents that's cost him. Tim Brown, P5, sitting nice and comfortably in P5 as well at the minute. Still a few seconds behind him. Needs to try and maintain that gap now. This is good points for this season. Murray there. I made the mistake there. Leaving my car on the grid like an idiot. But we will cross that later. Paul Kitchener. Simon Mannion pressuring Paul Kitchener. That corner looks relatively quite quick. Ben Rowley. Oh dear, Ben Rowley's come off the circuit. Oh, that's going to cost him an awful lot of time. He's going to try and rejoin in the safest possible way. Looks like he may be pushed by other drivers. It's like Brown is right behind him, and Brown will smell the blood in the waters. He's chasing after him. Beth Stibble's not that far behind. Can Beth do something here? She's only 5 seconds away from 4th place right now. It's a pretty impressive run at the moment. She can see those guys in front. So we should wait and see. Mannion closing in on Paul Kitchener right now. This is going to be giving Simon some confidence. Ben Rowley getting back underway, getting some pace back under his belt. Can Ben Rowley come back from the spin that he had? I mean, that's quite shocking. 7 minutes left on the clock. What can he do? Paul Kitchener now starting to make a gap on Simon Mannion. So these two guys not having the greatest of evenings in terms of what they're capable of, I think. But they'll get there. They always do. It's good to see them both returning for the rest of the season and into IndyCar as well. Meanwhile, the leader loses it on the way out of the mid-infield section. Whoa, that was close. Very, very nearly looped the car there, and I think maybe the tyres are getting a little bit on the hot side. This circuit seems to be using those tyres quite a lot more and heating them up quite a lot. So perhaps some of these drivers struggling with oversteer just through the tyres, not giving them as much grip later in the race. Gap now, though, is an incredible 20 seconds. I mean, that's a huge gap for Matthew Lee. Probably the biggest gap I've seen all season. In fact, all year. Murray now 9P9, and Murray's really struggling. He's got a 110 in, and we are back with Murray. I'm guessing he's got really hot tyres. Really struggling with this car. Guessing it's just looping around wherever he goes, but going to try and make it to the end. He knows he's got Matthew Lee right behind him, so Matthew Lee is going to be lapping someone very soon. Paul Kitchener just giving his absolute best. Not many laps left to go. As Ben Rowley's off again. I thought maybe that was a disconnect or an issue with his connection, but he's actually off the circuit again. And he's going to lose a considerable amount of places there. Stibbles now into P5, Brown into P4. Rowley having a terrible middle of the race now, and it's falling away from Rowley, which is quite a shock to see, considering his pace right at the start of this event. Banslow doing a good job. Just trying to stay in front of Ben Hornby, which is also known as Anthrax in this Anthrax, if that's how you pronounce it. But yes, Rowley now having to fight Beth Stibbles back. Beth Stibbles not covering the inside there for whatever reason, possibly connection. That's still showing us in front. I think Ben's nearly binned it there. Definitely costing himself on tyres. Tim Brown P4 now, and he's inherited that and just sitting with that particular time quite nicely. A strong job. Simon Mannion, this is going to be his best finish of the season so far. If he can hold off a charge in Jimmy Murray, who sounds like he's getting ever closer. Matt Lee now in between them and lapping the cars around him. So he's going to be looking to... He's made a nice gap to Banslow and Anthrax behind, so Matt Lee just driving to the end now with 2 minutes to go. Dare I say a few laps. And Murray around again. Murray's not having a great race. I think the tyres have had its day on that Virtuosi F2 car. And I'm sure Murray will be recollecting himself for the feature race. Different tyres, maybe a different setup. As Mannion goes round. So Mannion also a lap down, and he goes down. He goes round. He's slowly getting back underway. I'm not sure what's happened to to Simon Mannion. Looks like he lost it in the slower chicane. Ben Rowley now P5. He's got past Beth Stibbles. Not entirely sure if there's any issues there, but that will be looked into post-race. So it's as though he's pulled quite a gap on Stibbles there, so we'll check that out later. Paul Kitchener just doing his best. Now a lap down. Potentially just got a couple more laps to try and just bring it home. And Brown's had a spin. I didn't even know Brown had a spin and that Rowley had got past. So Rowley now past Brown. That puts Beth Stibbles back in the hunt for at least 5th place if Brown makes another mistake. Ben Hornby sitting in P3. Looks like he might be securing that one with a 19-second gap to the next car. And he'll be inheriting that because of Rowley's mistake earlier in the race. We've got 1 minute to go. It's going to be a good finishing position for some of these drivers. And for others, this is going to be a race they'd rather forget. That is part of this series. You're going to have bad races, you're going to have good races. Best to get it out of the system now before the Indy cars get underway. Ben Rowley now in that lonesome P4. Anthrax has gone round. Anthrax has gone round. I don't think it's going to cost him any time. I think that's Murray struggling at the back. Anthrax has gone round, but oh, Rowley just missing Murray as well. Murray really, really struggling. I think Murray's gone back to the pits. So Tim Brown now, P5. He's going to be crossing the line any moment now. He's on that final lap. In about 60 seconds time we're going to be on board with him. Paul Kitchen is going to hold on to that P7. Beth Stibbles P6. Beth Stibbles P6. Tim Brown P5. Rowley's going to bag that P4, I think. Anthrax is going to bag that P3. Banzo with the P2, and then Matthew Lee looking like he's on for the victory. Simon Mannion going to be out racing Murray, and he's hit the wall. Oh dear, Mannion has hit the wall. Looks like he's going to try and get back underway before he gets slapped, but just waiting for the leader. And here he is, Matthew Lee. We can take race number 1 victory for him this weekend. He comes through the final chicane, crosses the line, and there we go. That is race 1 done. That is the sprint race done. That is a Matthew Lee sprint race win. On his first win of the F2 season. I think he'll be very happy with his performance. Tim Brown's going to cross the line in P5 as Banslow crosses the line. He's going to be in P2. All he's going to do is navigate this final chicane. And he does in nice style. Crosses the line. And that's P3. Ben Hornby is going to cross the line in P4. Quite a way back though. P3, sorry. It's quite a way back. You're going to see him cross the line. Here's P3 for Ben Hornby. Rowley's going to cross the line P4 if he's not already, so that means it's Tim Brown. He's going to come across the line any moment now. Tim Brown with a P4. Beth Stibbles with a P6. And a happy driver there. Get back in that P6 position. Paul Kitchener P7. Simon Mannion P8. Jimmy Murray P9. That is your sprint race. We're going to take a short break. And we're going to come straight back with the quali for the next race. And the feature race to come as well. But we are just going to wait for the session to finish, get the drivers back in the pits. and then bring them over to the voice chat. Get the podium drivers over to the voice chat. Alright, so we've got race 1 winner of the sprint, Formula 2 sprint here at Charlotte Motorspeedway. We've got the race 1 winner with us, Matt Lee. Matt, how are you doing? Was it a good race from you?
Yeah, it was alright. It was a technical track to get used to.
Yep.
Well, yeah, good fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you were having it was a good race. Really solid lead towards the end there. Nice big gap.
Yep.
Yeah, brilliant race from yourself. Yeah, well done. Very good race. On to the feature race. What are you hoping for the feature race?
Just a nice little rhythm and look after the tyres.
Brilliant.
And try not to be so close on fuel.
Oh, it was very close, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could do me a favour when you jump back into the other chat, if you could bring, if you could ask Anthrax and Banslow to just come and join me before we get underway with the next session. Cheers.
Yeah, cool.
So we're just going to wait for the next people to join us. Session time has closed now, so we're good to close that and wait for the next session to start up. Let's get you a bit of a pre-roll, pre-race, with some tunes behind while we wait for the next drivers to join us in the voice chat. If we could ask for music and other things to just be switched off while we do the interview, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, we've spoken to race leader, race winner Matt Lee. We've now got P2 and P3 on the podium here at Charlotte Motorspeedway. P2 for Banslow and P3 for Ben Hornby. First to you, Banslow. Good race from yourself. Big gap in front, but you managed to maintain a good race pace throughout there.
Yeah, Matt was unreachable today, and like with the amount of practice that we've done, and I was really close to losing it a few times, but I managed to stick it together and came to the P2.
A lot of people seem to have that as well. Obviously, brand new circuit for everybody with about 15 minutes to go before the session, and a really good job from yourself to secure a P2. And Ben Hornby as well, good job from you, mate, and your first podium of CRS. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I mean, Vanslow was reachable at some point, but then I made a little mistake. So at the end, I was pretty happy that I could maintain my third position. So yeah, definitely.
Really mega job from both of you, and we look forward to seeing what you've got coming in the feature race. Are any of you two looking forward to what's to come in the feature?
Yeah, let's see what happens. Strategies can mix things up.
They can indeed. We're looking forward to seeing what you guys have got in the bag. Yeah, thanks very much. You're feel free to go back to race control now. Thanks very much. That was the drivers there. Just talking about their points of view on things. A really good race there from a lot of drivers, and some mega work, I think, from some of the drivers to claw some of the time back that they may have lost earlier in the race. But we're just going to fix something at the moment. There we go. Well, it makes more sense now that we're back in the right chat. Waiting for the next server to start, which will start in about 4 minutes time. In the meantime, we've got lots of things to get prepared for. The IndyCar season for CRS starts 4th of August. If it's something that you feel like you want to get involved in, definitely do come and get involved with us. Here's a little intro about what we've had so far and what we've got coming. are back. A short little break there. Thanks for waiting. If you're with us live on YouTube, thanks for dropping in. If you're with us as well and you're commenting, we'll see those comments post race as normal. The guys are just finishing up the practice session. Some of the drivers getting used to things, but overall, a good first round there of the sprint race, with Matt Lee taking that first place, Banslow and then Ben Hornby taking third, Banslow taking second. Some good drivers there, some drivers that need a good performance in this next race as well, the feature race coming up. Some of these drivers got a long race ahead of them, 45 minutes around quite a short circuit, but the lap times looking very similar to the likes of Road Atlanta last week, so we should be seeing the times it's a little bit quicker, but yeah, some of these drivers getting ready for what is going to be an interesting second race. All these drivers will have to stop at least once, so all these drivers are going to be figuring out the best strategy and how best to run those tyres to the end of the race, in whichever order they choose to do so. We are going to jump over now to the live feed and get underway with the second event. Practice just ending now, so let's jump over to those guys. I'll look at a few people now. Tim Brown just finishing up laps. These drivers just getting themselves bedded in, and we've had that sprint race to kind of get used to the circuit in a way. This next race is what it's all about, but we do go to that longer quali now. Drivers will have 10 minutes to set a lap time. Some drivers there set a time on the board, just for a bit of fun, I suppose. Other drivers getting ready on their qualifying tyres. Looks like some drivers moving to the super softs. Jimmy moving to the hards. Looks like he's not confident on tyre grip at the moment. Other drivers around him on the super soft tyres, looking like they're going to set their quali run on those, with a couple of drivers at the back on the softs. So we're going to see what those drivers are capable of. One driver just leaving, perhaps going to rejoin before qualifying starts. It's going to be a long race though, 45 minutes around the Charlotte Motorspeedway Roval, and that is a challenge for these drivers, rest assured. The amount of practice these guys have had versus what they would usually get is considerably shorter. They usually get a week to practice on these circuits, and they were only given 45 minutes at the start of today's event to learn this circuit at the last moment. So credit to everybody doing what they're doing and performing and racing as good as they are. It's not an easy thing to do. We're just getting counted down to quali now. Looks like we're going to tick over to quali. Paul Kitchen still hasn't joined back with us, so we're just waiting for him to join back. Some drivers leaving the pits, and so we'll go straight to the cameras. Stibble's just waiting on the outlap there. Looks like she's stopped at the end of the pit lane. Mannion just heading out. Kitchen seems to have issues. Frack's now heading out. Matthew Lee on an outlap, just getting himself warmed up for this first run. 10 minutes on the clock for these drivers, and from the sprint race they will have understood maybe a bit more about what the car is capable of. Maybe they'll have adjusted the setups for this race. You might see some times closer, and some drivers closer to others as well. Tim Brown did a mega job in the last race. He's looking to make some points again in this next race, so a good qualifying time from Tim. And we could see him perform quite well at the front of the grid. That's what he's going to want for definite. He's got a car in front of him though. Jimmy Murray just coming down the back straight. into the tight chicane. Matthew Lee on his out lap, on his first flying lap now. We'll start to see everything come up on the board in regards to times. Matthew Lee seems to have got this circuit dialed in already, carrying the speed through sector 2 as he gets into the fast sector 3. We've got the chicane at the back straight. How does he take the chicane? And this course, of course, is going to expose a lot of the drivers to an oval circuit for the first time if they've never driven it. It gives the drivers a chance to understand what a car does when there's an oval involved. As we have some oval races in the Indy cars coming up. Matthew Lee there. Now I think he starts a flying lap. That was a really good exit out. I think he very nearly hits the wall. Tim Brown. He's going to start, I think, his flying lap now, maybe. Tim Brown looking more confident than before. Mannion looking very confident through that sector there. Not sure if that was a invalidation somewhere, but he's carrying the speed through turn 1 as Anthrax has span at the final corner, and he's got out of the way. I think he's escaped impeding anyone. Beth Stibbles, P8 in a minute. Just getting herself through that final corner. Should start seeing things come up on the board any moment now in terms of lap time. I'm not seeing anything at the minute. Currently the fastest is Matthew Lee. Fans are a bit further back from himself. Then it's Ben and then Jimmy. There we go. Matthew Lee with a 1:05.9. Banzo with a 1:07.6. The times popping up now on the board as we get the relevant times coming in. Ben Rowley with a 1:07.5. That knocks Banzo down to P3. Tim Brown currently P4 with a really good lap. Mannion, just struggling a little bit. He's quick, but just struggling to keep it consistent. Ben Hornby is going to cross the line. P7. Sorry, that isn't Ben Hornby. That is just Anthrax. My apologies. Just realised now. My apologies for getting the name wrong. Anthrax currently just on his way. Hasn't put a valid lap time in yet. We've got 5 minutes, so he's got time to set another lap. He's probably on that lap right now. Well, we're just seeing the top 3 times at the moment. I'm sure there's some more times in a moment, but some of these drivers still learning the circuit, it seems. And that's okay. Some learn quicker than others, that's for certain. That's there. Except just behind Banslow. Across the line. Puts Anthrax in P4 at 1:08.3. Murray now, P6 at the minute. He needs to make an improvement. This is a good, looks like a good couple of corners from Murray. We'll soon see what the time's going to be. He's going to come through the final chicane, come across the line, puts himself P5 with a 1:08.6. So definitely a vast improvement. I think his quickest lap earlier was a 1:08. So sorry, a 1:09. That's a good lap from Murray there. Stibbles in with a 1:10.3. Brown in with a 1:09.3. Can do better than that. Kitchen and out. Again, looking to make some improvements. We'll have maybe made some changes to the setup going into this race. Being ready and prepared. That's what it's going to in that hour and count on in a 45-minute race. Going to come across the line. Set a valid lap. So, let's be on his next lap to see if he can set a valid one. As Stibbles comes through the final chicane. And across the line, and it's a 108.8. That's a mega lap from Stibbles. And puts Stibbles in that running now, that top 6. Definitely starting to find some pace from Stibbles. Kitchener is going to be on his next lap. Just needs to keep it valid, not hit the walls. This circuit was not built with these cars in mind, so these guys are doing an incredible job. The circuit is tight and tricky. They're all doing an incredible job to remain on circuit. Lots of the drivers have set times. It's like we've got Kitchener has set a time, but it's not quite on the board yet. He puts himself P8, but he is going to cross the line in a minute. Comes through the final chicane, a little bit slower than some of the others, but safe nonetheless. Puts himself on a 109.5. All these drivers now out of the 110s, so it seems. And that's an incredible job. Matthew Lee sitting P1. Only about 1.5 seconds, 1.6 seconds quicker. And he just goes a little bit quicker with a 105.8. That's an improvement from Lee. Banslow coming through the oval section now. Currently fastest is a 107.6. 1.7, can he improve on that? As he comes through the final chicane, absolutely sending it like a hero. And he loses it on the final... loses it on the way out of the chicane, and that's lost him so much time. He has got time to go out and set another lap though. He's got that opportunity if he so wishes. Tim Brown needs a good qualifying lap there to put himself in the 108s. So he is down at the minute. We're going to see. He's got the final chicane to come to. Concentration on his avatar's face is incredible as we come through the chicane and cross the line, and it's a 108.7. All these drivers, that is incredible. That's a mega thing to see. Mannion with a 114, so got some improvements to do. I'm not sure why Mannion has struggled. Kitchener now the only driver out of that 108 group, and I think Kitchener has the capability to do so. He's got 1 minute left on the clock, and he is starting to understand the circuit a bit more. This looks like a stronger lap from Kitchener. But a mega job from P4 to P7, a 108, so that is incredible. And amazing to see a Banslow and Rowley, only a 10th between them two as well. Definitely close in the midfield. Matthew Lee storming away at the front. Beth Stibbles, really strong performance. Final qualifying lap now for Beth Stibbles. Can she improve? We'll find some extra time. There's definitely a 10th in there somewhere, but walks up going into turn 5. Murray. His final lap. Got a 108.6. He's got to defend from Stibbles. This is an important lap from Murray. It's also an important lap from Brown. What can Brown do? Can he make some time? That is the question. Kitchener now back in the pits. Mannion back in the pits. Banslow, Rowley and Lee back in the pits. So it is just a battle between these 4 drivers. Anthrax with the position now of being the quickest of this group. Just needs to finish his lap. Could be the last car to finish a lap as well. So we're going to see if people move on the board. He's getting very close to the wall there as he comes out onto the oval. Absolutely sends it out of the oval. That is really impressive to see. Still don't see any of the other drivers across the line yet. Still waiting on it. Should be very close. We should start seeing times. Murray, no, Murray's not done it. He is back in the pits. Amtrak's getting a little bit wide through that chicane. That's going to have maybe affected his lap time. Stibbles hasn't done it, I don't think. Brown has done it. A 108.632. Brown moves himself up into P5 on a mega job. Murray will be kicking himself for that one. Stibbles is going to sit in P7, and that's going to put Anthrax in P4, I think, regardless. A mega job from those drivers, but A really good lap for Anthrax there, actually, a 107.8, so he actually puts himself within reach of Banslow and Rowley as we go into this 45-minute race. Brown, Murray, Stibbles. Oh, wow. Very close between those guys. And Kitchener, Mannion at the back with a 114, but definitely the quicker laps in the sprint race, so has the speed there. Just needs a bit more patience. Kitchener could have done more. I think he was there, and he was probably there, but had a couple of issues. But nonetheless, a great performance from himself. But your pole position is Matthew Lee, 105.8. A really strong lap around this very short circuit. A challenge for all the drivers, as I said earlier, as they didn't have very long to dial these laps in. So the fact that we are very close on lap time showcases differences of setup. It showcases differences of understanding of the circuit, and maybe some of these guys have found the sweet spot, it seems. But we're going to wait now, as we've got 1 minute 10 seconds until we go to the final race of the evening, the feature race here at Charlotte Motorspeedway. This is the Formula 2 series on the road to Indy here at CRS, and this is the final race of the evening. So we're just going to wait for the race to get underway, at which point we need to leave the grid. Myself, I did not do that last time for a number of laps. That's my mistake. And we were meant to be racing at Indianapolis, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that due to some issues with pit boxes. But nonetheless, we're here this evening at Charlotte Motorspeedway, circuit that may come back around in the CRS series, as we've got more Road 2 series after this particular series is done. So once the IndyCar's done, there's something new on its way. Anyway, we've got 1 minute until lights out. This is going to be great to see. Looking from the back of the grid here, Matt Lee sat pole position. That run to the start line, unique and different. We've got Banslow and Rowley. Rowley P2, Banslow P3. A promising qualifying from Rowley yet again. Anthrax with a P4, sitting nice and comfortable at P4. Tim Brown with the stellar performance, just out qualifying Jimmy Murray, P5. Murray P6. And speaking of 6, we've got lights. And it's go, go, go. We are lights out and off we go. Oh, we've got drivers dicing with each other already, as Tim Brown seems to have gone round. Drivers up the front of the field really fighting with each other. Beth Stibbles has come into the pits, it seems. We're on board with Anthrax's P3. Beth Stibbles in the pits for some reason. Not entirely sure what's happened there. Why she's come into the pits. Could be for fuel. Oh, it's for a drive-through penalty by the looks of things. That's going to cost her an awful lot of positions and, most importantly, race time. It's a long race. She's got a lot of time to make back up. Jimmy Murray, Paul Kitchener now fighting over 6th position. Kitchener really, 5th position, sorry, as Kitchener pressuring Jimmy there a little bit, but we're now on the oval section and speed is going to count, so which driver has got the lesser downforce on their car. We'll certainly see. There's Matthew Lee, currently P3. For some reason, must have been an incident somewhere. Banslow P2, Rowley P1, did this last time at Road Atlanta, where he led the second race for a considerable distance from Zoranovic. Matt Lee now, though, not having any of that. Right back past Banslow into turn 1, and as they head to turn 2, it's Rowley going through into turn 3. But it's close between Lee and Banslow in the background. But we're going to sit on board with Rowley for some reason. I'm still yet to get these camera things correct. I do apologise. There we go, we're on board now. That's what the fight would like to see. We're on board with Jimmy Murray. Comes through into the oval section. Drivers carrying an awful lot of speed as they come through there. So some of these drivers on a harder tyre trying to make it last until the end. Or right until near the end. Some drivers last time stopped very late. And that did make a difference in the race. Kitchen just losing Murray a little bit as they come through the oval. Lee now, though, on his way to chasing Rowley with the new fastest lap of a 1:07.6. Doesn't seem to have gained that much time on Rowley, but he hasn't got Banslow behind him now. What can Lee do? It's gained, and Jimmy Murray has gone round. Oh no, he's gone round again. Something not quite right with the car or the setup. Murray just trying to get back underway. He's going to have to take some time to get those tyres back up to a comfortable temperature. Make sure they're not over temperature. Make sure they're not over temperature, not too hot. Beth Stibbles had that drive through. That's cost her considerably. She's back in P9, 25 seconds off the lead. But these drivers are making mistakes, and Tim Brown, P8, has gone round. And that's given Beth Stibbles a position back. So now that's going to be on for Tim Brown. Tim Brown is going to be chasing Stibbles pretty hard. I can be sure of that. That puts Murray P7. Meanwhile, Lee and Rowley, they are fighting each other. Stibbles has gone again. Oh dear, not a good event. Start of the event from Beth Stibbles. But it's still very, very close between Rowley and Lee up the front. That's the closest battle. So I don't know why we're not with it. Stibbles back underway. Rowley, Lee, fighting now over that P1. Lee with the pace. Rowley with some defence. And depending on the tyre, these two look to be using the same tyre. So which one can look after the softs the best? Meanwhile, Jimmy Murray back in P7. That car getting a bit unstable as it comes onto the oval section. And as Rowley goes into turn 1, Lee tries on the inside, but there's no space. Rowley's holding off Lee at the moment. Kitchener, solid job in P5 at the minute. This is the best he's ran so far this evening. Looking to capitalise on this, make no mistakes. It's a long race on a very short circuit, but it challenges all these drivers to be super consistent. As Mannion's gone round. Oh, Mannion. No. P7. Oh, getting onto the oval section. But he's going to lose a lot of time getting back up to speed there. Brown is going to be right on his tail. And rest assured of that, I think he's going to be right there. He's going to come into picture now. There he is. Stibbles. Another pit stop. I'm not sure what's going on with Stibbles. A lot of airtime for it. Now a lap down. Getting out of the way of a faster car. Now behind Stibbles. Ben Rowley. Matthew Lee. They are fighting hard. That gap still maintains itself a little bit. They have been close. That's probably the biggest that gap has been. Not sure what's going on there. Tim Brown closing in on Mannion now. He was quite far back a moment ago, but he's closed in quite quickly. Mannion may be struggling on the brakes. Brown not so much. Both locking up a bit, but Mannion locking up a lot more. Meanwhile, Rowley and Lee. That battle continuing. Both very competitive, very driven drivers. Jimmy Murray in P6. He's gonna try and put some time back on Kitchener. Seems to have got himself back in a position where he looks comfortable. It's Matthew Lee now trying to get on the outside of Rowley, or trying to make him think that he is, as they complete another lap. The lap time's considerably slower than what Lee was doing, so dare I say Rowley is holding Lee up. If Rowley ends up getting passed by Lee, I don't think he's going to get that position back. So is this just Rowley? Defensive does look like there is definitely some problems. Anthrax in P4 goes round. That's a struggle from Anthrax there. He's going to have to get back underway. Mannion P7. Strong performance from Simon Mannion so far. 10 minutes into this race. Tim Brown wanting that position back off Mannion, so Mannion just doing his best, holding his own right now, checking his mirrors. Meanwhile, Rowley also checking his mirrors, as Lee looking incredibly close this time round. Again, Rowley with a good exit. Just as though Rowley's having major issues though with his connection. I think that's possibly putting Lee off trying to pass him. Could be ruining the race a bit here, but we'll be sat with this till the end. That's Stubbs and P9 BWT car. Good livery, that. Very nice livery. And Banslow in P3. Oh, P3. Okay, that puts things a little bit more on the cards. He's going to have lost quite a bit of time there. Don't know how much time he's lost compared to anyone else behind him. Doesn't look like as though there is anyone right behind. As Mannion's... Oh, Mannion's gone. Oh, that would have been a great battle between Mannion and Brown, but Mannion's lost it. He's going to get back underway. Kicking himself for that one, I'm sure. Absolutely lost concentration. Rowley now P2. Lee 5 seconds up the road. Looks like Murray's having some issues. P2. Lee has just driven away now. Didn't see that pass happen. As predicted. There was always going to be a moment where if Lee got past, Rowley wouldn't be able to do anything about that, and it looks like that's been the case. Simon Mannion takes his pit stop, takes his tyres. He'll come back out. He's got 30 minutes try and make a difference. Who's that in last place? Stibbles, 9P8. So has made a position. Just as Rowley's coming upon some traffic. That is Mannion. He's going to continue on his way. Oh, there's been contact there between the two of them. That's ruined both of their races, I think. We shall see what that does. That looks as though that's Banslow. Now catching up to Rowley. Is Banslow going to have issues? Probably won't know as Kitchener. P5. And Matthew Lee's done the quickest lap of the race at 1:06.4. He's now charging ahead, making that gap for the pit stop. Kitchener P5. And that's Anthrax and Stibbles going side by side. Anthrax just getting by Stibbles to put a lap on the BWT pink car. Solid another P4 at the minute. Wants another podium, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Simon Mannion. Let's see how he does in those tyres. First guy, I think, to stop on the tyres. Stop for new tyres. Murray now in the pits as well. Wonder what that's going to do with Murray's car. I think we'll go on to hard tyres. We'll have to wait and see about that one. Banslow very close to Rowley, but Rowley putting some space between the two of them. Both of these drivers very solid. Matthew Lee comfortably leading now as Mannion's back in the pits. Mannion's made a mistake or done something. Maybe he's sped in the pits or something. It doesn't look like he's coming into his box though. I guess this is a legitimate stop for some reason. Stibbles makes up another position. Murray's still in the pit, so has Murray retired from this race? That would be a huge shame if he has, and I think he has. It's a huge shame for Murray. Oh, Banslow's gone off. In P3, these drivers keeping it together for quite a while and then losing it, which is a shame. But he's back underway. Hasn't pitted yet. And soon I think we're going to see others pit. Kitchener in P5. Just doing what he can. Holding his own. Anthrax. Coming out of turn 1, looks like he lost it a little bit. There's any contact with the wall, but he's back underway. Really has shown some capability this evening. Very positive to see. Good driver in Anthrax. Tim Brown, solid driver. Unfortunately missed out on a 24-hour event over the weekend that was cancelled. So, trying to get some of that frustration out in tonight's event, perhaps. Running P6. A mega job in qualifying. Also a mega job in qualifying this man. Currently your race leader. Doing a fantastic job in the Red Bull livery. And so we've got just under half an hour to go now. These drivers will have be tired of this circuit by the end of the race, I'm sure. Some of these drivers now making their stops. This is the time to start maybe doing something about your strategy, your tyres, your fuel. All these drivers will have a pit stop that they have to do. You've got to put different sets of tyres on. So in comes Kitchener, and he's stopped in P5. Looks like he's going to lose that position to Tim Brown. But he's going to come back out the pits. And he's going to come back out the pits. Possibly next to Mannion, who's a lap down. So Mannion needs to try and give that space, really. He has failed to do so. Paul Kitchener just get his tyres back up to scratch as he's on the softs. Rowley comes in to the pits now. What's Rowley going to do? Stibbles P7. I think that pit stop's already been made for Stibbles. She very well could be going to the end. Rowley comes back out the pits. He's now in P3. This is that time to Banzo. Banzo hasn't pitted yet. Banzo had a spin, so definitely got some time to try and pull between him and Rowley if you can. Rowley looking quick. Definitely there are connection issues. 15 laps in. 26 minutes to go here at Charlotte Motorspeedway for the CRS Formula 2 series for the road to Indy. We've got 2 more events after this evening's race. We've got next Sunday, where the drivers will be racing at Watkins Glen, a circuit that is synonymous with speed. It's going to be a great circuit and some great racing. The drivers all get a chance. Anthrax in P4. Like he's had a spin. He's getting back underway. Rowley P3. Vanslow P2. So Vanslow's pulled some time on Rowley. Can he make that back up in the pits? I'm really not sure. We'll see though. Back to what I was saying about the... we've got Tim Brown now. He's been lapped by Matt Lee. So Mally really pulling away now. Just focusing on getting to the end. Oh, and there's Beth Stibbles. Looks like that's out of turn 1. Struggling with the car. Underway, P7. Still with points to be had. Kitchener is going to lap. Stibbles, by the looks of it, he is P6. He's got to chase down Tim Brown, who's a bit further ahead. Banzo now running P2. P6. A very steady gap at the moment between some of these drivers. Some drivers in their pit phase. Some drivers not quite in their pit phase. Banslow, Lee haven't stopped yet, I don't think. So we're yet to see those two stop. Laps Mannion continues on his way. P2. 10-second gap now to Rowley, so he's making that gap count. He's pushing, come out in front of Rowley if Rowley has some sort of issue. Oh, and Tim Brown's gone round. That's not great from Tim, but he's going to get back underway. I don't think he's going to get in anyone's way. I think he's clearing P5. As Matthew Lee sets another fastest lap, and this time it's in the 5s, a 105 for 8. Good luck from Matthew Lee. And there he is. Starting the middle sector of the circuit. Lapping, I believe, Kitchener. Solid drive from Matthew Lee in the sprint. But a little bit squirrely in the middle of the stint, but after that, a mega job. Sybil's getting out of the way of Kitchener. She knows that race is done and there's a lap down on him already. Kitchener's just got to focus now on making up some time on Brown. Can do it. Mannion keeping himself in the points in P8. Must be some solid points from Mannion. Anthrax making his way out of the way of Matthew Lee. Very close there, but very fair all the same. So try and match Matthew Lee a bit, I think. But Lee already starting to pull away. Tim Brown back underway in P5, doing a good job now. Last lap time was decent. Some of the drivers using a little bit less of the circuit there than others. Tim Brown having his own racing line. He's got things set in a particular way that he wants it to. Makes it comfortable for every driver. Anthrax P4. Rowley doing a 109.5. So is that the pace of the drivers around him? As that gap to Banslow is now 12 seconds. So has Rowley lost out there? Or is that 10-second gap not going to be enough? I don't think it will be. We'll soon see. We've got to make a pit stop in the next 18 minutes if they want this to count. So some of these drivers haven't pit yet. Mannion now on super softs at the back. Anthrax here on softs. Rowley and Banslow on the mediums. Lee also on the softs. So pace is in those soft tyres. The medium's less prone to overheating, so maybe that's helping some of the drivers. Stibble's on medium at the moment. Struggling. Really enjoyed that sprint race, but the feature race hasn't gone her way. Sure, we'll come back strong in the next race. Same for Simon Mannion. So far not gone his way, but still within those points. Murray, of course, retired from the race earlier on. Anthrax P4 at the minute, and he loses it. Coming across the start-finish line. I'm not entirely sure where that went wrong for him. Quite far off the lead. Brown also just trying to do what he can now. He's very close to Anthrax actually in terms of where the lap is. So this is still positive from him. There's Banslow in P2. That's going to cost him some time. If Banslow hasn't pitted yet, that is going to cost him some serious time. On these mediums, that would explain the pace deficit, but we've lost some time to Rowley there, and he has. He's lost about 2 seconds. Brown's been really strong at this circuit this evening, actually. I think he's been quite good. Now Ben Rowley, we've not seen Ben Rowley for a while. No one more on board with him. My word. Mannion on the outside, just moving out of the way. Touches the barrier, but he's back underway, so he's not getting in the way of anyone else. Rowley just doing what he can. Anthrax in P4. driver to take the Dams livery for the season. Didn't see conduct in the first race, so this is his first race with us. So his second race. Looks like he is lagging quite a bit. Settles down now into the final 17 minutes of this race. 24 laps gone. Banslow and Stibbles just crossing each other's paths there. Banslow currently running that P2 10 seconds in front of Rowley. Lee has completed the 24 laps so far. The other drivers complete their 24th lap. 107.4. See what Rowley crosses the line with. It's a 109.1. So he's lost a few seconds there to Banslow. That was a strong lap from Banslow. That gap now up to pretty much 10 seconds. Rowley pushing extremely hard. He knows he needs to make some time up on the Banslow in front. Matthew Lee continues on his way. Looks like this is going to be another strong win from the Formula 4 and Formula 3 Series champion and returning IndyCar champion as well. A strong calibre of driver in Matthew Lee. Also a strong calibre of driver in Tim Brown. The pace not quite there this weekend. He is doing his best. Banslow now into the pits. This is going to be where it kills his time a bit. Rowley's going to cross the line and take that position back. But it all depends. As Matthew Lee now, he makes his stop. He's very comfortably ahead of everybody else. Matthew Lee just needs a good, solid stop. No thrills. As Kitchener's gone round. Is Kitchener rejoining the oval? He is indeed. Looks like he was just safely rejoining. He's back underway. I'm not sure if Kitchener has stopped, but he needs to get a move on if he's not, because he will get caught by some other cars. Tim Brown now making his pit stop, so most of these drivers choosing to stop with about 15 minutes to go. Looking like they're going to go on to the softer tyres. Lee goes on to super softs. That's an interesting choice from Matthew Lee. Banslow onto the soft tyres. See these drivers. Tim Brown now comes out. He's on the soft tyres as well. Into 80 positions. Comes out in front of Beth Stibbles, who actually the car behind. But Stibbles is locked down. So Stibbles can't really fight that as much as she'd like to. That must be painful. There is a car that's just spanning the pits there. We'll just briefly cut to that for all of a moment. Looks like it was Simon Mannion. He's back underway though. Looks like his pit box is quite early. There it is. And he's going to stop. Beth Stibbles P7. Ben Rowley now P2. And that gap between him and Banslow, just over 10 seconds. So, actually, Banslow not doing a bad job with that pit stop. Only losing a small margin of time. So we'll see what Banslow can do in regards to catching him back up. Locks up a little bit going into turn one, but it's a good job from Tim Brown. He's keeping himself honest, chasing after Kitchener. Rowley wanting to get by. Brown will let him through. Banslow running P3 and Banslow just on his own now. Probably perfect for Banslow right now to just push. He probably is pushing quite hard. This is the time that he needs to try and catch up to Rowley. That time coming down ever so slightly. Very nearly at the 10-second mark now. It's Tim Brown. He's got past Bethels now. Pretty sure it's just Kitchener in front. Rowley then Kitchener, sorry. So Banslow's got to come across these cars as well. All depends on how he does that, as Anthrax loses it and he's in P4. Rowley behind him. So he's on his own really at the moment. Kitchener P5, so he's not safe. He's definitely got Kitchener behind him and not that far, but Beth Stibbles, poor camera angle this, but Beth Stibbles has gone round. Trying to put to a better camera. Looks like she's trying to get back underway. That BWT car a little bit loose in this feature race, or maybe the tyres are a bit warm. Matthew Lee continues on his way now. Only 30 laps into this race. A considerable race distance at a circuit like this. Doing a mega job. Brown now hunting down Kitchener. And this has just started to get interesting. Brown now with the same tyres as Kitchener. Probably a bit better pace right now. Looking a bit more comfortable. Rowley just doing his own thing. Trying to maintain a position. He's going to have Banslow closing up on him if he's not careful. That gap though, open back up to 10 seconds. So is Rowley doing enough? At the moment, Mannion goes off. But did we see Rowley go off? I'm not sure if we did. Mannion back in the pits. That gives Stibbles P7. And if Mannion has gone back to the pits to retire, Stibbles out is our last runner on the road. Ready to keep going. As Rowley goes off and into the barrier. I'm not sure what happened. Kitchener. Oh dear. Kitchener was P5. He's now P6. Something happened. I'm sure we'll find out after the race exactly what. Rowley's going to have lost time to Banslow there. Gap only now 5 seconds. As Banslow got the ability to catch Rowley. Brown has gone round. Oh, and that cost Banslow time. Oh no. And Brown and Kitchener, that's the battle, but Lee is coming up behind Brown. What does Brown do? Just think about this and not get in the way of the leader. Anthrax P4 doing his own thing. Ben Rowley right behind him. He's going to be putting a lap on him very soon. 9 minutes left in this race. And Anthrax loses it in the chicane. It's going to cost him so much time. He's going to try and gain some time back behind Rowley, but Rowley's just going to leave him for dead. I don't think they're going to race. As that was very confusing. Definite connection probably from Rowley that will be investigated and sorted post-race. Lee just safely navigating through the carnage of this evening's race. These drivers are usually driving so much better than this in terms of consistency, but currently struggling. Brown and Kitchener swapping positions. Banslow. Now back down to that 10-second gap between him and Rowley as car off in the middle of the circuit. I think that might have been Kitchener. Or was that Anthrax? I think that might have been Anthrax. Matt Lee rejoining the oval in the Red Bull liveried car. I think that's actually Banzo in front of him. So this is the first time he's going to lap one of the top three. This is going to be a really good race from Lee. Mannion's actually back out on track. 6 laps down, but he's back out on track. So it's good to see Mannion put himself back in the race. You never know what might happen. Kitchener. Is he going to settle for 6th? Or is he going to chase after Brown for that 5th position that he so dearly wants? That's Mannion in between them. So hopefully Mannion doesn't get in the way. Lap times definitely blowing from these drivers at the moment. Lee is doing the best job overall, obviously. Easy winning, but consistency is there. That's what's going to matter as we take all these drivers from this to the Indy cars in a few weeks' time. That's where all this testing and learning will have paid off for some of these drivers. And the confidence will be much higher. That's in P4. Are these two fighting for position? I believe they are. So is Brown potentially, with 6 minutes to go, going to try and go for P4 here? Guess we don't know. Rowley looks like he's currently got a nice gap between him and Banzo, but I think Matthew Lee's right behind. I think that's Brown and Kitchener coming together. I don't think that was intentional. I think that was more of a clumsy mistake from both drivers. Mannion in between them now, but he needs to move out of the way. He's going to be slowing Brown down, and that's not going to be what he wants. Sorry, no, Anthrax, not Kitchener. My mistake. No, it is Kitchener. That's Mannion. And he's off again. So he's having a bit of a hard time with the car at this circuit. So with the 107. A lap down on Lee. But not a lap down on Rowley, as Rowley is just slightly ahead of Banzo. Banzo putting in a really solid job at the moment. This will be his second podium of the evening, if he can hold it. Only himself and Matthew Lee will be able to do that this evening if things end as they do now, as they are now. Kitchener, Brown, they're fighting each other. I believe that's Anthrax in front. So has Brown just moved up to P4? He has. So the battle between 4th, 5th and 6th was extremely close. That's where the confusion came from. Kitchener now P5, Brown now P4, Anthrax now P6, and loses 2 places in the space of 1 corner. These things can change extremely quickly. Kitchener is right there with Brown, must be said. Matthew Lee lapping 2nd place, perhaps the most dominant performance of the season and the whole year from Matthew Lee right here. He is going to lap the whole field as Anthrax loses another position. Sorry, no, he just loses time. Those cars are lapped down, so he's still in the position that he was when he spanned, but any chance of fighting for that 4th or 5th have disappeared now. Bit of a shame. The 2nd place sprint race driver did really well in the sprint race. Managed to get a podium. Ben Rowley is sat P2. Looks like he's going to get his second podium of the season. Got one at Road Atlanta. But this looks like it could be a second one. Brown with possibly his best finish of the season as well in P4 right now, with 2 minutes 40 left to go. We're going to get these drivers into chat after the race. Chat to the podium drivers. And, see what they've got to say. Just over 2 minutes left to go. That battle kind of close between Brown and Kitchener. Brown has pulled away though. Definitely a rivalry between those two, as Rowley has span, and it's cost him. This has cost Rowley, as Banslow now takes P2. It's cost Rowley. It's all gone wrong for Rowley, and he's gonna move. He's gonna lose the position down to P3. Oh dear, he's not gonna be a happy bunny. Is Ben Rowley. He's on for that P2. Solid work from him, and he's cost himself in the dying moments of this race. Kitchener locking up. Struggling a little bit, and we've lost one of the drivers, unfortunately. It's a DNF from Anthrax. Shame to see. Brown is going to try and keep that gap, as we've got a minute left on the clock. Matthew Lee, very much a dominant display of driving from Matthew Lee. Beth Stibbles is going to put herself back into P6 position, which is the best finish all season for both races, to finish in the top 6. Mannion laps down, but still going, and that's something that we really respect and like to see here, that you see things through to the end. The race might not go your way, but you may learn something. Got 20 seconds left on the clock. Matthew Lee passing Beth Stibble for what will be the very last time. 5 seconds left on the clock now. So we're watching your race leader. Jimmy Murray's also finally confirmed his retirement at the end of the race. And here he comes. Your F2 feature race winner, your sprint race winner as well. And there he is, crossing the line sideways. Matthew Lee takes race number 2, the feature race here at Charlotte Motorspeedway, a challenging circuit for everybody, but amazing work from all these drivers. Very, very last minute. Banslow with a P2, got that at the dying moments from this man, Ben Rowley, in P3, and he's going to come through the final chicane, and he's going to cross the line as well. Tim Brown and Kitchener, well, that was a battle all the way to the end. Looks like Brown is going to secure that P4, and a good P4 from Tim Brown, considering the issues in the beginning there for him. Finally made up some time and crosses the line. P4, and a happy driver from Tim Brown. Definitely in a good mood there. Kitchener crosses the line also. Takes P6, P5. Stibbles with that P6. Good performance from Beth Stibbles. Mannion crosses the line. He's going to be the final driver to cross the line. And there we have it. That's your race grid. Anthrax finishing in front of Mannion will gain points, but the DNF will be a consideration. Murray retired early, stayed in the pits, so did what he could. Beth Stibbles Just coming back to the pits. A good event from Beth Sibbles. 2 P6 positions. A good race from her. And yes, a solid job from everyone this evening. And so we'll just get the podium to come and join the chat. We'll just wait for these drivers to join. Well, folks, that's the final race of the evening, and we've got the podium drivers with us. We'll speak to Ben Raleigh first. P3 Ben, close towards the end there. A couple of issues towards the end of the race, so you lose that podium position, mate.
Twice through with P2. One of a few races I'll be quicker than Banslow. I'm most annoyed about the back markers racing me, crashing into me. You shouldn't be anywhere near me. Blue flag moves you out the way. Dead easy. First half of the race, decent. Second half of the race, too much fuel and couldn't get the tyres up to temperature. The mediums, horrible. Horrible all round.
P3 nonetheless. And that's your second podium of the season. Well done to you. Banslow, another podium. The only driver apart from race winner Matt to get 2 podiums this evening. Good performance from yourself. A bit of a lucky one there at the end, but yeah. How'd you see that?
Yeah, it was a bit unexpected, but I will take it.
Yeah. Yeah, a good race from yourself though. Some good pace, and that 45-minute race there, it looked quite tough, really, to be honest.
Yeah, we are here in the middle of the heat wave, so I'm sweating like a cow. Yeah, and I also managed to overfuel the second stint, so I ended with more than 20 liters of fuel in the end.
I see. Well, yeah, a great job from yourself. Another P2, another podium, like I say. A good campaign for yourself in the FTs. Well done for you. And on to our race winner this evening, Matt. I think I can say that was the most dominant display of driving we've seen this year at CRS, overtaking, lapping everybody. At least once. Really strong pace at the end there once you got past Rowley. Saw that you got a bit stuck, but a mega job from yourself. What have you got to say?
Yeah, I had to make amends for last week. Last week was a really poor performance, so I had to come back fighting this week. And worked out to set up quite well in the 45 minutes, and yeah, decided to go softs and super softs because the tyre wear wasn't that bad, and just pressurised them up and kept them within 100 degrees, so they performed pretty well. And yeah, my start, I thought I was going back to last week. Jesus.
Yeah, it was a good race for yourself though. Really positive, really good from all 3 of you guys, and well done for racing this evening. And credit to all the drivers this evening for getting on and learning the circuit at such short notice. And the lap times in the qualifying especially were extremely close between some of the drivers in the midfield, which was exciting to see. But yeah, thanks very much from all 3 of you. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. Hopefully see you all on the podium next week.
Cheers.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the final race of the evening done. And that was pretty much it. Matthew Lee with P1, Banzer with P2, and Ben Raleigh with P3. Some questionable stuff, I think, that will be looked at post-race. But so far, that is pretty much us for this evening. It's been a good little event. We've had that sprint race, a short race. It's been a short circuit. It's been a tough circuit, definitely. But as we go into next week, you'll see us back on the regular schedule as we head to Watkins Glen for what will be a really great race. It's some fantastic wheel-to-wheel action between some of the drivers that know that circuit really well. Charlotte Motorspeedway this evening, though, throwing up a little bit of a difference for some of those drivers as we prepare to get towards IndyCar. Anyway, that's been the racing this evening with CRS. If you'd like to get involved, please do feel free to join us in the on the Discord. You can join the Discord in the comment in the description below the video. So make sure you click on that and join us and come and join this racing as we grow this community a bit more. The IndyCars will start on the 4th of August. We'll be doing that with our friends at Black Box Mods, AC Mods. A really good group of guys. So we're looking forward to working with them. But in the meantime, thanks very much for watching. I've been James, your commentator for this evening. And this has been CRS Formula 2. That was Charlotte Motor Speedway. And next week, see you at Watkins Glen.